there's been a lot of talk about epigenetics and cell signaling. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, epigenetics is a relatively new science, and if somebody has a bad family history, say of cancer, they often assume that they're going to get cancer as well. And epigenetics is the whole study of how you can actually change things so you don't have to go down that track. Cell signaling is an interesting thing because the world we live in has really affected what's happening inside our bodies. If you imagine a dimmer switch on a light, it's like somebody has turned the dimmer switches down, so our bodies are not noticing things. We're not noticing blood sugar going up, for instance, and we're not noticing the odd cancer cell, which the body is actually able to kill and take out of circulation. And so cell signaling is putting the compounds back into a supplement which enable those switches to be turned up so that the body is responding much more readily and quickly to signals that it was designed to respond to. So it's a very exciting new area, and it's something that we should all be thinking about because we can make a huge difference to health if we work alongside cell signaling.
Cell signaling has a reaction to the internal cellular response to free radicals. Can you explain about the internal antioxidant versus the external antioxidant?
Well, when you take an antioxidant, say vitamin C, by mouth, it circulates round and round the body, and if it comes across a free radical, it will deal with it. But it's a bit hit and miss. But we do need vitamins and minerals for nutrition for our cells. We need them to help build the cells, repair the cells, all those sort of things. But internal antioxidants, they're catalysts. So they're not destroyed when they meet a free radical. They can deal with many, many thousands of free radicals. And as a result, you get a far better response. They're inside the cell. So when a free radical occurs inside the cell, they are right there. And the cell has a very complicated method of identifying them and dealing with them straight away. So it's a very, very efficient system.
What's exciting for me about cell signaling is that the cells have millions of switches in them. And some of these switches, as you said, fade over a period of time. And so cell signaling can reactivate these switches. And what appeals to me is the suicide switches can be reactivated. So how would you explain that to someone?
Okay. Well, all the cells in our body have a use-by date. And if the body's working really efficiently, they're taken out of circulation quite quickly, and a new cell is created in its place. But if the body is old and tired and not working very well and we're not giving it good nutrition, those old damaged cells sit around and they hang around and they're not producing the energy that they need to produce, for instance. And maybe mitochondria is a good example of that. In our cells, we've got these little energy factories called mitochondria. And they produce energy which drives all sorts of actions in the body, but at the same time they produce a few free radicals. Now, if they're allowed to be old and decrepit, they won't produce very much energy, but they'll produce a lot more of the damaging free radicals, which are like sparks, and they will damage anything. So if we're using cell signaling, what we're actually doing is encouraging that death of the cell, that death of that mitochondria quickly. So it's taken out of circulation. But what actually happens is it's like they're reabsorbed and a new mitochondria is formed from the old damaged one. But it's totally new. And it then can produce lots of good energy and very few radicals. But the ability of the body to suicide cells, it's an interesting term you use, but that's actually what happens. And that happens in cancer. The body says, oh, that's a funny looking cell, and we'll kamikaze it. We'll take it out of circulation, we'll kill it, because we don't want that cancer. And if we do that efficiently, nobody will go on and get cancer. But most people, in fact, have had cancer many, many times in our lives. But when our bodies are strong, our bodies can overcome those cancer cells before they grow and develop and become a big tumour.
So how can people get cell signaling? Like what products are available for that?
Okay. Well, cell signaling comes especially from groups of compounds, polyphenols. So companies that make high quality supplements are beginning to put polyphenols and cell signaling into their multi. Usana Health Sciences is one that are leading the way in this, and they lead the way in the research behind that whole area of cell signaling epigenetics. It's exciting.